Hello and welcome back to the lesson. The subject is boardroom dynamics. We're going to study diversity thinking in the boardroom. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the importance of diversity thinking in the boardroom. Now, candidates, in order for the board to harness the advantage that cognitive diversity can bring to a board, a business should appoint directors who not only appear to be diverse, but who are also capable of thinking and communicating diverse thoughts and opinions. So the fact that the board has people from diverse areas like age, gender, location, competencies, and so on, that may not necessarily mean that they'll bring diversity on the board. Those who are appointed should be capable of thinking diverse thoughts. They should be capable of communicating the diverse thoughts. Because the thoughts that are not communicated, then the thoughts may not be useful to the organization unless one communicates what he or she is thinking. Then whatever is in the mind of a person that has not been voiced out, then that may not be of any use to the organization. A director may have diverse thoughts, but the question is the director able to effectively communicate the thoughts to the advantage of the company? Unlike what many may assume, these two traits, which are thinking diverse thoughts and communicating diverse thoughts, the two are not intrinsically linked. You may have diverse thoughts, but you may not be able to communicate the diverse thoughts. So it's important that there is diversity thinking on a board. So today we are going to study the importance of diversity thinking in a board setting. The first point is in relation to the customer. A diverse board better understands its customer base. Better understands its customer base. Better understands its customer base, as well as the environment that the business operates in. And as a result of that enhanced understanding, the board is better placed to find and seize opportunities for innovation, which ultimately creates value for the business. Another reason is that a diverse board is able to challenge the status quo. It is only a diverse board that can challenge the status quo. Having a wide range of perspectives in the room also means that the status quo is constantly challenged and critically reassessed, which guards against the notorious groupthink. And although that may sometimes lead to stormy sessions in the boardroom, it is likely to yield more favorable result for the company ultimately. Challenging status quo may mean that the directors may be in conflict, they may disagree, they may quarrel, but ultimately that may be to the advantage of the company because they are challenging the status quo. 3, wider networks. Wider networks. Now, how is wider networks a benefit? How is it a benefit? Now, the gender quota erode at cliques being formed amongst the directors. And the people may be forced to tap outside of their networks. And consequently, the more diverse a board becomes, the wider networks and business connection that such a board has to access. So if a board has diverse members on it, then because of the influence outside, the company can now get advantage of such networks. Four, a diverse thinking on the board can also counteract what we call silo thinking. Can counteract silo thinking. It can do what? It can counteract silo thinking because a spectrum of diverse perspectives in the boardroom, specifically with regard to skills and expertise, aids to counteract silo thinking when the board is faced with a challenge. And a board that is equipped to consider an issue from many angles, be it financial, economic, legal, generational, geographic, and so on, is far more effective at assessing the risk of such an issue than one that adopts a one-dimensional approach. So diverse thinking in a board setting helps to or aids to counteract silo thinking. Number 5, diverse thinking on the board also brings unbiased view, especially if there are independent directors on the board. Incorporating independence into the boardroom has its own benefits, specific advantages, because independent directors can bring unbiased view, distinct from that of shareholders, distinct from that of the management, distinct from the fellow board directors, which provides the assurance. That in itself provides assurance to the outsiders or the external parties that the company is being run in an effective manner. And due to their perceived distance from the company, they act as a balancing element in the boardroom discussions between different shareholder or stakeholder representatives. And also they help in managing conflicts affecting the board members. Why? Because their objectivity allows them to safeguard the interests of the minority shareholders and other stakeholders who may not be represented on the board and who may be unable to speak with a strong voice at shareholders' meetings. Unbiased view. So incorporating independent directors has specific, unique advantages to the company. 6, diversity thinking in a board setting inspires investor confidence. Then inspires investor confidence. The external perception may be created if a company embraces diversity, especially in the upper echelons of the company. When the external parties, when they view the company, the upper echelons, at the top level management, at the board level, then that can inspire confidence. Such a view may inspire confidence in the organization, which ultimately creates value for the company. Seven, we are discussing the importance of diversity in a board setting. A board with diversity thinking is a board that performs better. Better performance. Better performance. A diverse board in itself creates an incentive for companies to continue incorporating diversity in the boardroom. And boards can strive for effectiveness and embrace diversity as a mechanism to deliver that effectiveness that is likely to do what? To perform better than boards who incorporate diversity with compliance in mind. There are companies that incorporate diversity because they've been forced so through regulation. But there are companies that understand the importance of diversity. So when they embrace diversity, it's not because of compliance or tick boxing. So the company should carefully consider how best to incorporate diversity in the boardroom in a way that will effectively improve the performance of the business. And that may involve including other members on the board with the elements of diversity, bearing in mind the necessary skills, bearing in mind the necessary experience, the necessary expertise, and so on. When that happens, then the board will be a balanced board, which makes effective decisions for the company. So these are reasons why a company should consider having a diverse board. One, to better understand the customer base, to challenge the status quo. The company will have the advantage of greater or wider networks. There is also counteracting of silo thinking. Due to the presence of independent directors, then the board will come up with decisions that are unbiased. It inspires investor confidence. A diversified board also is a board that performs better. So that will mark the end of the lesson. And here is your question, assignment. Explain the importance of diversity thinking in a board setup. Repeat. Explain the importance of diversity thinking in a board setting. Thank you. Bye.